welcome to attempt number 3 of episode 218 of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Darby Hallman.
I'm Jeff Mayo.
Jeff, are the stars aligning?
Maybe.
Or are we about to get attacked or something? And there's about to be a bomb's about to be dropped on the house because we can't actually record a podcast. There's no way.
No. Absolutely no way.
Yeah, just peek behind the curtain. This has been the most trouble we've had getting a podcast episode out in our entire run, I'd say, probably. This is attempt number 3. We recorded an entire podcast that got eaten by Jeff's computer, which was sad. And then I was having a migraine. We had to leave. And then Jeff's just been working ungodly hours. So it's it just hadn't happened.
I'm going to work after we get done recording.
Yay! Adult. But as far as we can tell, we're actually going to be able to record this one. It is recording. The number is ticking up. We also have the live stream. We have 2 different ways where this could be saved. So I hope to God we actually have a podcast this time. Yes. If we don't, then I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to burn this whole thing down.
True. Let me get my plushies out of here.
If this recording gets eaten, our Sonic 2 review is just Jeff going to be tweeting it's good. That's going to be our entire review. That's going to be the only time we ever talk about it. Yep. if this gets eaten. Oh boy. So yeah, we have kind of a hodgepodge of a bunch of different things that we're talking about today.
Yes.
Over the course of the last 3 weeks. 4
yeah.
weeks, something like that.
At this point though, as far as what we recorded during the original episode, only 2 things have survived, I'd say.
Now you see what's really important.
Yes.
And you know what's important?
3 things.
Kingdom Hearts and Sonic. Those
Oh wait, never mind. That adds another thing. I forgot about Sonic for a second, even though we just talked about.
How could you forget about Sonic?
Yeah.
Jeff? I mean, he is laying dead on the ground in front of you there. Ellie can probably support. No, never mind. He got this. He's got this by himself.
Doing it on the bow.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
I'm always worried to do something on the bow because the bow's so fragile.
Well, we all know that behind the Sonic franchise is Naughty Dog.
Yes.
Lifting them up.
You think it'd be Crash, but
you
no.
would think.
Darby, we need to just get into it.
Okay. Let's talk about some games, Jeff. And we have a particularly exciting one to start off with.
Yes.
We have Overwatch Dos.
Yes, the beta.
Yes.
Let's put that in there.
The tech beta, whatever the hell they're calling it. We absolutely watched 4 hours of Overwatch 2 streams.
We watched the whole time. We were glued to our screens.
Yes.
We laughed. We cried.
Yeah, so we watched definitely 4 hours of Twitch streaming. So we were able to get into the Overwatch 2 beta. So we've played, I've played 2 nights off and on. Me and Jeff both played together last night. So we played at least an hour or 2 or 3 or something like that of Overwatch 2 so far. So, we have some initial thoughts.
Indeed.
And my initial thoughts are that it's good. It is a very fun time. I think you could be forgiven, especially if you're someone who's not really into Overwatch. You'd probably watch this and be like, what's different? It's it looks like Overwatch or whatever, which it very much is the bones of Overwatch. It's not a crazy change. But I think the changes add up to be I think it's what I wanted.
Yeah. It was just, if we talked about the unfortunate thing of this stuff should have been updates that they did periodically. And instead of just doing it all at once, we don't need the 2. The developers of Overwatch, the actual developers know we don't need the 2 on there.
Correct, yeah.
Because this is technically not a new game. It's just replacing the game. That's not a new game.
It doesn't. The single player thing. It should have been a single player expansion that's coming out later because this multiplayer is not even going to cost you anything more. If you have Overwatch 1, you have this. So it was very obvious that I think the developers, this was the compromise they got to because Activision's Call of Duty has sequels. They made Destiny have a sequel and they didn't want one. It's there's a track record of this for sure. But so that being said, no matter what, this should not have been handled like this. That's obvious.
Yeah. Well, I just realized something funny that if once Microsoft owns Blizzard and Activision and stuff, it will probably be like Destiny, where it's technically Overwatch 2 for the rest of its cycle. They'll never have to make a new sequel. It's just going to be weird because it's just that random 2. It had the first version, did a sequel, and
You're right. It's going to be like remarkably similar to everything that happened with Destiny. But yeah, so I don't want to dwell on that. I want to say right up front, like, yeah, this was handled poorly. This shouldn't have been handled this way. And we shouldn't have had this game on life support for 3 years. It's ridiculous. That being said, I'm very happy with these changes. And they're minor changes, but I think that's all I wanted. I think the Overwatch experience is very, very good, and I wanted it to be like this competitive game that, like, it's not really like a Fortnite that's just ever changing all the time as far as the actual gameplay or whatever. Yeah. This is a competitive thing that you can get good at and that people have entire careers out of. So that's what I wanted this to be. But I think the 5v5 change is a very, very welcome change, especially for casuals. I think, like, which we're kind of in the realm of, like, to various degrees. I think it makes the game like a lot more like readable and a lot just like kind of easier to pick up and play. And I think the targeted character changes they did were pretty across the board, all big improvements.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I guess we can kind of, I guess where we want to start, the 5v5 aspect or the character aspect of it.
I don't know what reaches out to you more.
I will start with the 5v5. Oh. And that's the biggest change, obviously.
Overarching change.
Yeah. Like you were saying, it kind of not being as much of a it taking away a tank definitely makes it look like a mess. Like you said, more easily readable. Like I'm curious to see how it will be like watching Overwatch League, like how that will affect the viewing and everything. Yeah. And those matches once they get accustomed to the game, because it feels like things are kind of more fast paced, especially since less focus on shields. Which is a welcome change to most Overwatch players, for sure.
For sure.
So that is nice. And just because there's one tank now, and especially since there's less chance of it being them having outright shields, it kind of feels like the tanks are kind of, like, they were always kind of obviously a focal point, but it's kind of obviously a more focused one just because it's one. And, that's like an obvious thing to say, but once you kind of get in and play it, it's like, oh, yeah. I mean, this feels different in a weird way.
Well, it is weird when you look at Overwatch. You would kind of think like, oh yeah, all the roles are kind of created equal. They're not really. Like the tank is the centerpiece of a lot of these things.
That's one thing I will say as a criticism. I think they need to fine tune support, because support it feels like it's getting left in the dust in a lot of ways. It's kind of more of an afterthought, just because healing doesn't feel like in a way as much important, or it's kind of doing as much, at least so far. And I think other people express similar opinions. And the bad part about losing 2 shields, it is very easy to support just to die. And a lot of times, unless you're Lucio who can move around very fast, there's not really much you can do about it.
Right. That's what my biggest
and I guess Mercy can get away too.
Yeah. My biggest criticism going into this is I just assumed there was going to be some big support changes. Like, there was going to be some support character ability changes. Like, I thought like someone like Moira or like just even Baptiste or someone was going to get about as many changes as like Orisa did. And there was no changes. There was no changes. Everyone has a passive heal. They basically have Mercy's passive heal, but that's it.
They pretty much in a way nerf Mercy, and that was it.
Basically. And I think like the difference between and I've pointed this out ever since I got into League. Like, I think games like League of Legends and like Dota, I think have a way more interesting approach to supports than Overwatch does. A lot of Overwatch healers are just heal bots in different like ways of that, and I think a lot of their tech is really cool. Like, I love playing Mercy and flying around to everyone. But it's like they don't have anything like League will have, like cleanse, or have like you can like put a shield on them that like blocks abilities or does like different type of things like that, or they have like a hook or something. Like they have like something about them that is like supporting the tank and the DPS and these other characters, but it's not just pumping healing into them or whatever.
Yeah, the philosophy for Overwatch for the most part is they all focus on healing and attacking to varying degree depending on the character just the delivery is going to be slightly different.
Right. And then I feel like the times that they've kind of gone away from that, like Baptiste, the example, I mean, he still heals like crazy or whatever. I think Immortality Field is just kind of a BS ability in a lot of ways. It's like I don't know. I feel like their attempts to go away from that type of healing philosophy have not been great either. Like support is like the one role where I feel like the Overwatch devs kind of don't know what they want to do with. At least that's what it feels like. You know, I think a lot of refinement has went into tank mostly.
Oh yeah,
which is what that's where the game kind of revolves around, so it makes sense. But I'm hoping this is somewhat alleviated by new supports offering something new.
Yeah, and we're still in the beta phase, and obviously they did it after the release. So like you were talking about with Baptiste and Moira, those changes could still potentially come. It just could be the characters that we got the overhauls for were just done by this beta, because every character from one's in this game or in the beta. So
right,
some of the changes for some characters could be coming,
especially if the game is not coming till next year.
Yeah, because like you said, it's kind of weird. You look at it like individual tanks got some changes, like we're gonna talk about Orisa for sure, and Doomfist got moved over, and then you have DPS characters, Sombra and Bastion and May to an extent got, as for examples, got some pretty big changes, but
got a new character in DPS.
Yeah, that too, and support got shit.
Support's like literally nothing.
Yeah,
it's like, and I don't wrong that it's not like it's awful playing support. I mean, it's still like I still prefer this. I still like if right now it's like, okay, we're just gonna make Overwatch 2 as the live thing, that's what I want, because I still like the five characters. I like there being less sustain in the game. Like fights are more decisive, but that's cool. That's a good thing. I just think that there's still room left to grow on the support side of that.
Yeah.
But as far as the changes they did, you particularly liked Orisa.
Yes, Orisa seems to be very popular, right? I see some pro people be like, oh, she's gonna be one of those characters once people kind of learn, like day one Bastion, not gonna be as much of a problem. Like, don't say that shit. I hope not. Or at least to some degree. Obviously, I don't want her to be considered like OP to where it's not fun or anything.
Yeah, but I'm sure they'll level out to some degree, but hopefully it just gets to a nice,
But yeah, I'm really liking her so far. It's just crazy. Like a handful of these characters got changed to some degree, but Orisa was obviously the most by far. They completely changed her kit in philosophy, because she was big, stand still, shields, and now it's like rushing in with a javelin and a gun.
Now she's like adrenaline junkie sprinting at you. She's intimidating.
Yes. Yeah, when she comes running with the golden armor thing she has and the spear, it's like, oh fuck.
And that ult is like scary too. It's hard to get away from because it kind of sucks you in, and then you can just slam down and do. And the risk reward aspect of the longer you charge it, the more damage it's gonna do. But obviously, if you just sit there charging this thing, you're kind of a target. Yeah, which is cool. And the javelin is just satisfying as hell.
Oh yes, cooldown's not too bad for it too. So it's. Yeah, every kill thing, it's like, boo, throw it. And then, when you hit far away, in the Dari, kind of far away, I saw a Mercy resing, so I threw a javelin at her and killed her.
Amazing. It seems like it does a decent amount of damage and knocks people out of whatever they're doing. So it's
But because it's not the easiest thing to hit, especially from far away, because, the bullets are, their bullets are kind of instantaneous. That just. It does like it's supposed to, but it's obviously very sassifying when you do hit. There's going to be a lot of great pro plays with that javelin.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see some real skill shots for really far away. And from what I've seen, at first, when I the only time I played her was in a death match thing in between matches. But when I first used the javelin, I was trying to do it from really far away. When I saw someone, I was like, wow, this is hard to hit. But when I got in a close-up fight with someone, it's a lot easier to hit up there, and it still does have some good utility. I would be in a neck-and-neck fight with someone, and I just stall them for a second and pump a bunch of damage into them, and I got the upper hand and won because of that. Yeah. Or they're starting to charge up something, it's boop, just jab them into the wall. So it's just altogether, it's a completely philosophy change for Orisa, which is probably the one that needed it the most, and it just seems fun. It just seems
and
fun.
Obviously taking away the tank is taking away a tank from each team in a battle changes that well, but Orisa, the initial kit Well, it's what a lot of people did not like about Overwatch. It kind of revolved around, or for the most part, Orisa and what Orisa did. So just removing that from the equation should have a lot more people satisfied with the state of the game.
No, I agree. Yeah, there obviously will be people who will mourn the old Orisa, but I think I think it's better for the game. I think her design now.
No, let's talk about Sojourn.
Jeez, like. God, she's fun. It's like this. I need to just mute this because it's gonna be. I still think I'm going to be like middling at best, or just like okay at best with her or whatever. Because I think she is like slightly high skilled, like not crazy. You know, you can still like I got some good games with her or whatever, but she is kind of high skill ceiling or skill cap. But damn, this is like probably one of the fastest I've clicked with a kit in the game. I don't. It's so early. I don't want to be hyperbolic, but like she is just pure fun. Where it's like her mobility is insane. Like the slide is like probably one of my favorite mobility things in the game. You can just slide in any direction and then like launch yourself.
I was like, obviously I knew it did that. I was so surprised the first time I did it, like in the training room, did the slide. Like, oh, you go on for a while, and then let me press the jump button, and you just fly.
And like I think it's huge that like I just assumed you could only do it forward, but the fact that you can do it any direction, so you can be fighting someone and then just slide backwards and disengage. That's how I used it almost honestly most of the time. Is I would like go in on someone and I should die, but then I was like, whoops, just like, nope, see ya, and like,
bye.
You go backwards. And not to mention, her gun is amazing because her gun is basically she has a primary fire that's just like this, machine gun fire that builds up this charge number on her gun, and then the higher that charge number, the stronger her secondary fire will be, which is just like a railgun laser bolt thing.
And if you don't have it built at all, you cannot use that secondary fire.
Right? Yeah. So and the secondary fire is insanely powerful. Like headshots will kill most like any 200 to 250. Okay, I think it does 250 damage. So Mercy one shot. Like Lucio, I think one shot. There's a lot like McCree one shot, Soldier one shot. A lot of the characters would be one shot with that. So it's very, very, very powerful. But you have to be able to hit it, and you don't have a scope or anything, so it is kind of hard to hit. And you have to use the primary fire to build it up. So I think that trade-off is fair. You know, I think it has a fair trade-off.
Yeah, and with her ult, I don't know if there's like how much there is to it besides this, but yeah, the meter for the railgun will charge up without you having to hit it, so you just kind of fire those continuously, which sounds like a pretty satisfying ult.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, she is powerful, but you have to have the skill to back it up. It's not just press button to get killed. You know, it's like you have to be able to do things right, you know, position yourself right. And she's very squishy. So I think she's just all around. Like, some of her numbers might be changed a tad, but I think she's pretty good, like, already. I mean, I think she's powerful, but you have to be good enough to get that power out of her. And it's just so much fun. She is just a blast to play. Yeah. Like, even in my, like, not as good games, it's just zooming around the map. It's just super duper fun. So, yeah, I'm very impressed with her.
Nice.
Immediately going to add her to the DPS list.
Sombra with her change is going to be more of an annoyance. I don't know how much we're going to play her, but playing against her is going to suck. Yeah.
I died to Sombra a lot more than I did normally do in Overwatch 1. So I'll definitely say that.
Because not necessarily the getting hacked and losing your ability thing, because they nerfed that aspect of her character down a lot.
Yeah.
But the damage she does now, and just her turning invisible and just come out of nowhere, especially us who like to play support, and well, you don't play tanks, so just your characters in general don't have a bunch of HP.
No, yeah.
So when she shows up, hacks you, and you know from behind is like, oh well, I'm scared.
So she melts you.
Yep.
So you got to get away. So yeah, she is a very, very much more of a like kill threat now, which is different. And yeah, I'm interested to see how that's gonna go. She has the biggest potential to be like, especially in pros' hands, potentially overpowered. I don't know.
Yeah,
with that, but we'll have to see. And then there's some other ones. I don't think we messed around a whole lot with like Bastion or Winston.
That's certainly a little bit. Yeah. Okay. I like Bastions. I need to The DPS role has never been my forte. I usually not the best at that, but I did enjoy Bastion, and I think at least for me did decent when used him in a game. I mean, I'd like to see how straightforward his kit is. I mean, he was always pretty straightforward, but obviously with the change, like you're not stationary and can't stay there. They pretty much made his old ult, combined his old ult with the stationary turret. And that's a lot of fun. I think the cooldown and everything is fair and I have less times in there because, you can melt people pretty easily, but you can't stay in that mode all the time.
Right.
And the bomb is pretty satisfying because it bounces off walls and stuff.
Yeah, that seems like there could be some skill shots there. Just in general, between Bastion and Orisa, it seems like they literally are just taking that bunker play style out of the game. You're staying stationary, shooting people out of the game, which was Overwatch at its worst in my opinion anyway, so I'm fine with that. And with one tank, I think that was just never going to be viable anyway. So, I think it's, if you had left Bastion the same, I think there would be there's no point to ever pick him, so and for the most part, besides gimmicky stuff, it wasn't really picked too much, it seems to me anyway. It was really just in that one style where we are mercy damage boosting, shield in front of him. Or we feel like a wee bit of trolling. Or a little bit of trolling. Well, so this keeps going until I think May 17th, something like that. Somewhere around there. Hopefully it's not too much longer after that before we get the real thing. Because the other part is I think all the maps are the best Overwatch maps by far. I think it was a pretty big step up in just design. And obviously kind of the design philosophy with these maps. We've talked about it when they were revealed and we got some footage for, but now actually kind of playing around in them. It's this is very different. They're a lot more open and just a lot more rooms for cover on stuff. A lot less straightforward than previous maps. That's what I mean. And it's not, I don't think it's just because obviously we've played the old Overwatch maps so many times, hundreds of hours, hundreds of matches on all these things. So we know them, but I think even after we've played hundreds of matches on these maps, I still don't think it's going to be predictable because people could come from so many different areas because there's different staircases and different elevation points or whatever that I think it's never the old Overwatch maps, most choke points is okay, there's two places they can come. They're going to come one of these two places. Yeah, well, I don't think it's going to be that simple. That reminds me, that was one of the things that people said, the guy, so I think he's a coach in the Overwatch League, said about Orisa that once people kind of figure it out, because Orisa's not really good from great distances because her gun, the closer you are, the stronger it is. So with all these different places and vantage points, once if a Widowmaker gets up there or something, then it's not a crazy amount you could potentially do. Widows might have a field day on these maps just because of all the places they can hide. I expect a lot more random headshots. Yeah. Which I think that's what they're kind of going for in this game. They want this game to be more of a get picks. You go off to the side and get a pick or something on someone that can swing the fight, which I think Overwatch needed more of. It needed more of that, less of two meatballs smashing into each other. Meatballs. So I just hope we get more characters and more maps and more betas this year soon. I'm going to be pretty disappointed if this is all we get for a long time, But I'm enjoying tremendously what we have. So. Indeed. Thumbs up from your boys. That's right. But does Nintendo Switch Sport get a thumbs up, Darby? So far, it's got it. Thumbs up. Let's go. All right, that's our review. Thumbs up. Yep. Like with Overwatch 2, we've only played an hour. Yeah. We got it last night, and once Darby got in, played a little Overwatch 2, play a little Nintendo Switch Sports, yada, yada, yada. But yeah, so far, things are fun. We tried out all the sports at this point, though we didn't play tennis yesterday. Yeah, we have played between the beta and this, we have done all sports at least once, but yeah. So there's obviously, we still have a lot left to do and left to get better at and do all this stuff or whatever. And the big draw of this is obviously going to be party games and stuff. I think I'm going to take this to my sister and my 4-year-old nieces to play, and that's going to be this is just a game that you're gonna want, like at least I'm gonna want to have when I'm around people to bust out.
Oh yeah,
And that's part of why I'm going to get to is the value proposition of this, but it's like I just know Nintendo is never going to go down. And it's like, I know I want this. I have the nostalgia. I think I'm probably overpaying for it a little bit. Well, whatever. I just want, it's a game I'm going to want to have, even if I don't play it all the time. I'm just going to want to be able to bust it out. So for that, for it being the fun party game, if you have a bunch of Wii Sports nostalgia and you've been thinking about busting Wii Sports out again or whatever, but you don't want to get your Wii out, I think this is worth getting. I mean, if you have that nostalgia, I think it is. I think it is somewhat content light. I think it very well could have justified having more content. I mean, just look at Wii Sports Resort.
Yeah,
half of that.
I don't see a particular reason why I can't have like at least what's considered a normal sport like out of those packages. Like it, like why isn't boxing in here for an example from the original Wii Sports, and like and that stuff like ping pong and basketball from Wii Sports Resort? Like why not?
Yeah, especially some of the smaller ones. Like Wii Sports had some small games and just in general. Again, I would put this fits right along with a lot of the other Mario sports games and stuff that have come out, where it's like they got to like the bare minimum to like people will buy this, and then they stop. They did what they needed to do to sell the thing, and they did no more than that, which is, it is what it is. It's fine. Like I would, there's a reason why I'm getting this one and not the other ones, because this does have more variety than a lot of the Mario sports games, and I just have more nostalgia for it. But it is not like they're going above and beyond for sure. Yeah.
No,
that I think that like gotta say that up front. That I don't think this is going to like wow you and amaze you in those ways, but I do think what is there is well made and is fun and is going to be chaotic and cool. And
bowling is good as you remember. Good as you remember. They have this crazy mode where the lanes changes like every single frame, which is crazy and fun. We talked about this we didn't play it last night, but just to kind of reiterate from the beta, the Battle Royale online bowling mode is a lot of fun and just an interesting way to do it. I think too, it's a good way to increase the longevity of this game, at least from the bowling aspect of it. Like I can see a point where, at least online, there's only a handful of games, maybe even just bowling, where people are kind of playing. Because, bowling has that added thing with the Battle Royale that's pretty interesting. Like, you gotta get in the top whatever every couple of frames. That kind of adds to it. It's like, oh, I didn't even make it through the first 3 frames. Yeah, it is like bowling seems to specifically have like multiple different modes that I think are interesting. You could have a whole night of just playing like different bowling modes and stuff. And that kind of looks like, man, why couldn't you do some of this crazy shit like you did with bowling? But I kind of get it that at least in comparison, bowling is easier to do that kind of shit with. Can't exactly have a Battle Royale tennis thing.
True. Yeah, it's a simpler concept, but I think they do enough with it to do. And I think the motion feels very good with the Joy-Cons. I mean, considering that, it doesn't have the sensor thing that the Wii did, but like it feels, I didn't have times where it's like I'm just swinging and nothing's happening. There's maybe some hit detection problems like with the sword, maybe, but it's like overall I was pretty impressed. Yeah, motion.
Well, we finally got to play that new soccer.
Yes, I enjoyed it. I don't know about you. I thought it was fun. Like I had heard very bad things about it, but I was like, I thought this was fun. Like
I'll have to see exactly how it does like long term, I guess, because we've only played a couple matches, but. Yeah, it seemed fun. There's enough there with you actually move with the sticks, and they actually have a pass button, and you can head it, and all that kind of stuff.
Especially the moving around is a big thing. I mean, I think from what I've heard, the shootout mode sounds pretty basic. I mean, I think it's just one person's kicking, the other one's just doing this. It's like that. That's about it.
Well, you need the leg strip.
Yeah,
make it more entertaining.
Yeah, but. It's basically Rocket League. It's just like kind of a simplified Rocket League, but I think it's fun. I think especially doing it online with other people will be fun and interesting.
Indeed. Yeah, and they got the 4v4 mode and then a basic on a much smaller field 1v1 mode, which at least have that variety there.
Yeah, I'm into it. Yeah, I'm into it. It's a cute, charming game. I like the new Miis.
Yeah.
I think it's a very pretty game. I think
They're not Miis. I don't know what they're called.
They're sports mates, which is the worst name.
But you can have your
Miis. Yeah,
Miis in there. We can have us in the game.
Just like we're gonna call this Wii Sports, we're gonna call them new Miis.
You know, the new Miis.
The new Miis.
Oh, where can I make my furry?
Just
promise
wait,
furries.
Just wait. Was there a promise of this, or was this something that you dreamed, Jeff?
No, they're definitely screenshots of like a squirrel girl or something.
Oh shit. Okay. Well.
Remember, they said during this thing, human body.
Yeah, they did. They have human bodies, so that is troubling.
Troubling, Darby.
You must play 99 hours, Jeff, to earn your first.
Worth it.
Yeah. So I'm excited to have this. It's charming. It's cute.
Mm-hmm.
It looks nice. It's Wii Sports.
Indeed. Though I will say one thing that is dumb as fuck is the stuff you get to earn the costume and stuff for your character, you can only get it online. There's absolutely no reason you should not be able to do that in offline modes where a lot of people are going to want to play this.
Yes. I mean, I'm sure I'm definitely gonna do some online, but where I want to play this most is with friends and stuff and local. So if you play with friends for 6 hours on a Saturday, you've earned nothing. It's like, why? You know, this is not Overwatch, League of Legends, some like big competitive thing. It's fucking Wii Sports. Like,
yeah, there's no reason for there's no reason, especially since like even if you want to go their Nintendo arguably scummy kind of way is. I mean, there's no microtransactions in this game, so why?
There's no like, yeah. You just really want people to be incentivized to play online, but I'm like, I don't know. It's like if like little Timmy gets Nintendo Switch Sports, and that's like all he plays all year, and he plays like 300 hours in Nintendo Switch Sports, he should have some costumes. It's like, it's ridiculous that he would just be sitting there with his basic ass costumes if he just plays the computer Nintendo Switch Sports over and over again. Like, because little kids might get this game. Maybe they don't want to play online and get destroyed. Maybe they want to just play the computer. It's like, yeah, I think that's a little stupid. I'm not gonna hold my breath on it, but I wonder if that's something that they go back on and change.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows?
Darby, tell me for a second time, but first time officially, about Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga.
Well, the funny thing is, I haven't played it since then, which is not any like comment on the game. I think I'm just gonna slowly whittle this game down, but I've just been playing some Final Fantasy 14 and other things like that.
Fucking dork.
I am a fucking dork. Lego Star Wars. Not gonna spend a whole lot of time on this, but it is very charming. It is very cute. It is probably exactly what you're thinking it would be, but that's a good thing. It's definitely like the definitive Lego Star Wars experience. It has all 9 movies in it. I've only played the prequel trilogy so far, the prequel 3 movies, but I think they do a very, very good job of retelling these stories, and they have a lot of very good gags in here. It's definitely speedy. They definitely kind of like get through the
Briz version
games pretty fast, but it still took me like at least like 6 hours or something to do all of those. I mean, I was taking my time a little bit, but it's like that was pretty good. You know, if they're all like around that same level, this is at least going to be like at least a 9 hour. I mean, I would say at least like an hour per movie, even if you're kind of speeding through or whatever. So it's like. That's pretty good, and it's going to take me way more than that. So yeah, and I think it is gameplay wise and everything. It is like it doesn't reach the height of like the top 3D platformers like your Marios or any of those from puzzles or from platforming or from combat. Like it doesn't hit the heights of any of those, but it is very fun and all of those all of those things, and very accessible. You can hand this to anyone. I think it's maybe, especially combat and stuff wise, it's maybe a little less than I was expecting, because while what everyone says is true, that it's like, yeah, the combat's actually surprisingly deep. You can do these combos and do all this other stuff. There's so little pushback in the game that I feel like I never really get to use those. Like a lot of times I can barely even learn what the combos are because everything's just dead.
I think I answered this last time. Since you haven't played it, I assume you don't know the answer still, if I'm right. Is there a difficulty setting?
No, not that I looked all through because I was going to bump that thing up, but I did not see any. difficulty setting, which is
baby game.
Yeah, I think that is a mistake for just how much it seems like they did put into the combat and other things like that. Yeah, so I would push back a little bit on the combat being like, oh wow, it's surprisingly really good in this game. It's like I don't really feel like you're able to see that. You know, you're not able to really use that to a degree, so it doesn't feel that way to me. Even if it's fun to just plow through, and I'm playing it for the cute jokes and the like things like that. And there obviously it's like a kid's game and there's kid slapstick humor, but there are some legitimately like really funny jokes. I think the one that I was spoiled because I think it's just like one of my favorite jokes in the whole thing was in episode 2 when Anakin like kills all the Tusken Raiders for kidnapping his mom and stuff. And in the movie it's very much Anakin's turning evil because he like there was a bunch of women and children and stuff in there that he just slaughtered. So whenever you're walking up to the camp, there's a guy out front that's like, welcome to the home of the Tusken Raiders camp, home of not just the men but the women and children too. Like as you're walking in here to slaughter them, it's like there's some dark humor in there that's very funny, very, very good. And I'm very excited to see how they handle some of the other things. And I've heard that the voice acting has been good so far, but I've heard that some of the later ones are like really, really good. I heard like Han is the one
Han in particular is supposed to be very good.
Yeah. Whoever is doing did Obi-Wan was very, very good too.
Nice.
There was also Qui-Gon at one point. It's Liam Neeson in episode 1. Yeah, he came up to one puzzle and he said, "I have a particular set of skills that would be good for this," or something. It's like, that's a Taken reference.
Oh, speaking of that, I don't know if I mentioned to you actually yet, but there's a Xenoblade reference in.
Really?
And it's not a stretch. It's like at some point there's like you might have passed. It's like some kind of disco party type thing, and one guy was like doing. It's like, I'm really feeling it, and it's Schultz's voice actor.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
Like if it's a really feeling, it's like, okay, then here's the voice actor. Like yeah, that's a
incredible.
nod.
That's very good. Very good. Yeah. So I recommend it if you have any nostalgia for these games. It's worth it. I think it's worth it.
Nice. Darby, I have now completed Kirby in the Forgotten Land.
Yes. A long time ago you completed Kirby in the Forgotten Land.
True. Some would say a millennia ago. And in true Kirby fashion, it gets pretty crazy at the end.
So I have heard.
Won't go into spoilers because, don't want to ruin it for people, but yeah, crazy shit. But overall, Darby, very good video game. Very good 3D platformer. If you're a fan of 3D platformers, buy this game. Do it. Let's do it. And I was actually pretty impressed with the difficulty as it kind of ramps up once you get towards the end game and then into the post game. And this is one of those games that once the credits roll, it's like, it's not the real end of the game.
Not even close.
Yeah, the post game is part of the main game in my eyes. But the kind of it gets creative and everything, very interesting. Like just throughout it, the way it uses the mouthful mode and all that, in just very satisfying ways. And boss fights are actually a highlight for this game, I'd say for sure. And again, they get pretty crazy and kind of difficult. It took me a couple tries for one of the in-game things. There might have been an easier way that I just didn't realize to actually do it, but it did take me a couple tries.
Nice.
It's like, man, I need very specific power-ups for this one.
That's a good sign for Kirby.
Yeah. And yeah, just a lot of fun.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I can't remember everything we talked. I don't think I really asked last time. I mean, like, where do you think overall, like, I mean, where do you think this stacks up as far as like Nintendo 3D platformers and stuff? I mean, do you think it's like right there with a lot of the like really good ones?
I'd say so. Yeah, just the creativity through it. Like it just, what you want out of the Nintendo 3D platformer. In some ways you can maybe see like, okay, this is their first one, but still it's really good, very creative in what it does. It has what I love about is a staple at a lot of my favorite 3D platforms with power-ups and all that kind of stuff, and using them in creative ways. Like, yes, what's going on right now, it was designed around this power-up, and I think that's where a lot of stuff shines. So just it continuing to do that throughout the game in creative ways, because no power up like really, or at least the mouthful modes, you know, you can use any of the other power ups you absorb anywhere throughout the game technically, but even then there are puzzles and stuff that involve you getting like absorbing the fire guy and having the fire power up. Right. But the mouthful mode ones, they don't overstay their welcome at all. They're obviously like designed to be used at certain points, and yeah, they use them well.
Nice. Yeah, that just was impressed with like how many different things there were and upgrade trees and shit.
Yes, yeah, and some of those even get pretty crazy and fun.
Yeah, I need to play this game before the end of the year. It just looks jolly.
Indeed, very jolly.
Hell yeah. Well, Jeff, let's get into some news. Hit me with a news jingle.
Jingle, jingle, jingle.
It is time once again for Kingdom Hearts. You can't escape. You know,
we
it
can never escape.
It's so important we just need to talk about it twice. You know.
Indeed, indeed.
Do you have fresh takes? Have you analyzed the trailer even more since 2 weeks ago? Have you sat there and absorbed it? It's like now it's like, no, that's not an ATS. Yeah. There's no way that's Robo Donald. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's still an ATST. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
yeah. Nothing has changed from 2 weeks ago where I'm like, we're getting Star Wars.
Yeah. So Kingdom Hearts 4 was announced.
Yes.
Because we actually haven't talked about this on the podcast. It is a real game. It is a continuation, but like kind of a new thing, but kind of a continuation.
New saga, but yeah, continuation of where they left off. And
Sora's fucking dead.
Yes.
This is the afterlife, apparently.
The real world is the afterlife.
The real world is hell. The real world is Kingdom Hearts hell.
Purgatory. Yeah.
So do we know, is this supposed to be a real Earth, or is it just very much based off of real Earth, real life? Because aren't they in some, don't we have the name of the city they're in, and it's not like a real city, right?
It's the new world is called Quadratum. It is Yuzora's world, which Yuzora is not Noctis. The not Noctis character. Yeah.
We are in Final Fantasy Versus.
Yes. Yeah. Just spoilers for everything Kingdom Hearts. Is on the table here. So yeah, and Melody and Memories. They pretty much confirmed that Sora's in a world of fiction. What does that mean exactly? I don't know. It's Kingdom Hearts, you know. They're going back to the old thing of like Final Fantasy based on reality is what this is. It's a fictional world kind of based off the real world or real world. Okay. But in the Kingdom Hearts world, it is pure fiction.
So this Quadratum is the world of fiction?
Yes.
And his is okay.
Hell is fiction. It's what the afterlife is fiction. What they say. Take that, religion.
No, I really want this to be like, that makes me even more want this to be the real world, because I want our real world to be a fictional world created in Kingdom Hearts.
We watch Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse also watches us.
Yeah. He stares. He's been watching movies of our life.
I love the genocide episodes.
The JFK assassination, that was my favorite.
Yeah, and yeah, they're going all in with the afterlife thing because they have a little teaser thing at the end with Donald and Goofy obviously looking for Hades, like another dark thing, but it's obviously Hades who shows up, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's his Japanese voice actor,"
and he has to be in every Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, we need a Hercules in every numbered Kingdom Hearts.
Yes, absolutely,
and even some of the spinoffs.
I mean, but what do you think about the art style? How different it looks? A lot of things about.
I like it. It might be a little more jarring if I knew, if they confirmed that, this is how it looks throughout the whole game. But they have confirmed that particular art style is just for Quadratum, and I can see them, especially since we are getting Star Wars, they may be going into live action movies a little more because we really only had Pirates and Tron. And maybe using that look as a base for those worlds as well, because we talked about it. Marvel, I think, is going to have. If they're doing Star Wars, there's no reason not to do Marvel. So I think that's where they're going. Other live action things, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I think they would immediately go to. I expect, Coco, Moana, or at least two of the ones are like those are happening.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Zootopia's possibility. There's other possibilities, but yeah, I think those are like locks. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you would be okay because they said that this is going to be on Unreal 5, right?
Yeah. It's being developed on Unreal 5 right now. I think this trailer was Unreal 4 and they said it was making transition, but I think interviews since then they made it sound like it's there now. Apparently the transitioning between 4 and 5 is very easy.
That's good. I mean, obviously, I think that like him having the normal proportion feet and like some of the other more realism things or whatever would be in this world. But I'm sure you'd be okay with even in the cartoony worlds. It just looks like there's room for a graphical step up, even with it still being cartoony. You know, it's like I'm sure like some element of what you're seeing, like the realistic, like just some of the detail will still be there, even if it's in a cartoony style. You know, it's like, I think you can look at this trailer and still glean somewhat of what the game's gonna look like. I don't think it's gonna look like suddenly they go to the other world and it just looks like Kingdom Hearts 3. You know, I still think you're gonna.
Yeah, obviously, it's gonna be a graphical upgrade. Yeah, because of that. I'm curious. I expect this to be one of those trailers where I know this doesn't happen crazy often. You know, it's something we would like where there'll actually be an upgrade between this and the last one, just because of the engine upgrade as well, because we know that's happening.
And it sounds like from the more they say, it sounds like this is kind of a tone trailer. Like I don't know if they have a full like. There's a lot of things that are probably not hammered down completely right now. You know, it's like, so I could see things changing. Basically, is all I'm saying. You know. I could see similar to like some early Final Fantasy VII remake trailers. I could see like just because you're seeing a UI in a certain way here, or seeing this thing in a certain way here, doesn't mean that that's what it's gonna look like in the end of the day. Yeah. Star Wars. Stars. Kingdom Hearts lightsaber. Keyblade lightsaber.
Yes. Oh, and I'll say it again because I said it last time. I'm now going to watch Star Wars. I know, fuck me.
Yeah, no, it's hilarious. It's great. We love Jeff. Never change.
Yes, I won't. But also they're going in more crazy with the mobile shit because the redheaded girl that pops up in at Sora's apartment door or whatever is Strelitzia, which is a mobile game character who dies. Which Borker Eden said, "Hey, this is the afterlife." Yep. Everyone's like, okay, you know, maybe we can get away from this mobile stuff. Everyone's like, who's that girl? And then people comment, oh, that's a mobile game character. You're like, fuck.
You should have known better. You're not getting away from it.
I knew we were not getting.
You don't get away from anything in Kingdom Hearts. It's all.
Especially since one of the ending stinger was showing that one of the Organization 13 dudes was actually a guy from the mobile game this whole time in disguise, and and connected to all the other mobile game characters. It's like this is gonna even have more focus on the mobile game.
Oh yeah, of course. The numbered games are just like filling in the gaps of the mobile games. It's just like that's the filler.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Nothing is not canon.
Hotel room.
Yes, we still don't know about that. They announced another mobile game called Missing Link, and it's like, well,
it's right there in the title. It's right there in the title.
But it's not going to be the least important thing.
Yeah, I'm sure. There'll be like a plush or something that'll come out that'll have like inscriptions on the ass that like is like, oh shit, this is important.
This is true. No more would do that.
So I actually put very important lore details on this hot dog that I gave to someone, but he ate it. He didn't know, so you'll never know.
Yep.
Anyway, you have anything else to say? I'm sorry, I know it's kind of abridged, but it's somewhat old news at this point. Well, we're gonna get more Kingdom Hearts 4, and probably next year, end of this year, something like that.
Yeah, I am excited.
Hell yes.
All right, Darby. Through the last couple weeks, Nintendo was like, "Fuck you," we're releasing trailers for shit.
That's pretty vulgar language, Nintendo.
Yeah. But unfortunately, they did not start this with "This is Miyamoto," so this stuff really doesn't matter. But we'll get to that later. But let's talk about them trailers. Some of them are older than other ones. One of them might have been in the original recording.
Maybe.
But let's get to it. First one, I'm going to talk about what is my most anticipated game of the rest of this year. Xenoblade 3, let's go.
Baby.
We got a new trailer. Its release date actually got pushed up to July 29th from September. And
that's rare.
Yep. And we learn why pretty quick, but we'll get to that. This trailer goes a lot more into the battle system of the game. All party members on the field on the screen at once.
Was it 8, 9? Was it?
7. Well, there's 6 main party members that are gonna be in the game the whole time, but it looks like throughout the game you get a 7th like guest character.
Nice.
And yeah, which looks fun. And
I mean, you know, that's your immersion, because in all of these like Final Fantasy games, you know, I don't think it would make a whole lot of sense if you were traveling around with a bunch of superhuman freaks. If it's like, okay, but only 3 of us gonna fight at once. The rest have to just hang.
I like how Persona 5 contextualized like, oh, you guys stay back some, so you know it's harder to get spotted.
Yeah, I mean they try.
Yeah.
In Final Fantasy 7, they're just off doing something else, and you have to call them on a cell phone to say, hey, come join us. It's like they're just off doing something else. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Yep. We learn, I guess, what it would be considered the main gimmick of this game compared to the other ones, and that is Ouroboros, which has 2 of the party members fusing into this weird giant mech thing. And yeah, there's like a
sounds anime.
Yeah, and the way they pair it off is 1 male member, 1 female member from each of the opposite armies, because it's like
guys, Darley and the Franks.
Maybe these guys will end up together. Who knows? But yeah, because you know the Xenoblade 1, Xenoblade 2 worlds, so it just picks one of them from each one. They fuse into these giant mech things, and because they can do this, apparently that is very bad. And both nations are like, oh, we're going to kill you. So you have Melia, who's a party member for 1, be like, yo, wipe out all the Ouroboros.
So are they racism? There's racism? Sounds like it. So like,
and well, I don't know.
You're mixing with their kind?
No, the Ouroboros is the actual like weird giant flesh mech looking thing. We actually see an evil one. That like could be like the metal face of this game. And we see one of the what looks like it's going to be one of the main antagonists from one of the armies that's supposed to be like friends with half the party, and she just kind of sees them evil dark shadows for some reason.
Oh yeah.
So you know we need to see what exactly they do.
They're mad about the end result. They're mad about the giant mechs, not
not necessarily them talking to people from another nation.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that'd be interesting, and also something else kind of for like story. Part of being Ouroboros, and that being the thing that brings these 2 sides, these people from the 2 sides together and on the run from both their homelands, will be interesting. And throughout the first trailer, time is talked about a good bit, and they mentioned one of the characters mentioned that they're their fuel, and because of GameStop, I think the scripts might have been popped up another thing, but we got like a brief story synopsis thing. We might know what that means. Apparently, soldiers from both countries, for some reason, have a 10-year limit. Like they start being soldiers, apparently only then they had 10 years left to live for some reason.
Wow.
So people are theorizing because of that fuel line from the first trailer that once you sign up to be a soldier, you're pretty much linked to something, and you were kind of fueling something. And it takes 10 years to completely drain you.
Huh. Interesting.
So there's going to be some weird time element to this where, yeah, technically these characters don't have a crazy amount of time to live.
Your whole party's going to die.
Yeah, and I imagine there's going to be at some point be some character we get used to whose time limit runs out.
Damn. Sounds fucked up.
Yep. Going to be great.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And obviously the music's fantastic. They have a fantastic thing going on in one of the scenes in there where it like seamlessly transitions from the battle theme from 1 into the one from 2.
That's the type of shit that's that nerdy bullshit you're gonna eat up.
Yep. So this game's looking fantastic. I'm ready. I'm glad it's coming sooner. We'll get into my release date dilemma later when the other thing comes up. But the reason it got pushed up was for this next game, Splatoon 3. Which is coming out September 9th. So We figured this happened once the Xenoblade trailer was shown and that date. They just got switched.
Practically just switch, which to be honest, they were both giving off the energy that they should be in each other's spots from the jump.
Oh yeah, I talked about it once Xenoblade was announced based on other stuff. It's like it looks to be just about done.
Splatoon is the one where it's like, okay, you've shown very little.
Yeah,
it always just felt like this is the way it should be anyway. But
yeah, I imagine like, and especially thinking it back in hindsight, the fact that Xenoblade just had a generic September date and didn't give an exact date just shows like. Yeah, it's definitely coming out by him no matter what. But this gives us a little flexibility to probably move. They probably thought, okay, there's a chance we move this up to Switch with Splatoon, depending on what happened.
Right.
And gave them that kind of flexibility.
Right.
Unfortunately, the trailer for this wasn't as in-depth as Xenoblade's for a release date thing. It's nice to see, but it was just a match of Turf War.
Yeah.
Just showing the full match, switching between perspectives.
Not really glammed up at all. Just a match, basically.
Yeah, it was nice to see all the new weapons and the new supers, which look pretty fucking insane. So that kind of stuff is nice to see. But yeah, it doesn't help with what happened with Splatoon 2 and this, where people are like, "Oh, this is just a port of Splatoon 1."
Yeah.
Like we're still hearing that shit. Like you people like Call of Duty, shut up.
Fair, very fair.
So yeah, it looks fun. Obviously, I'm gonna get. I wish we were seeing more story stuff. Like I have trust in the multiplayer stuff. That's not what I need to see. I mean, I technically don't need to see multiplayer, but I want to get hyped.
Yeah. But then they really haven't showed like anything, right? I mean, there was just
a little bit of things,
tone stuff in that announcement.
Yeah,
trailer
they seem like kind of crazy screenshots from the single player. It's like, okay, this is gonna go hard.
I'd have to imagine that at least by like E3 time, and it's not E3, whatever, June. That at least by that time, I would hope that you start getting like some big single player blows.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it now. We know Nintendo's gonna have like their normal June Direct. I mean, I guess we don't know, but we can just assume.
Yeah.
Expect Splatoon to be the big blowout game. Like Breath of the Wild 2 can still be there, but since it's not coming out till next spring, don't expect like a giant blowout like we could have seen. Splatoon's probably going to be that game.
Yeah, I agree.
And people are going to be mad, and I'll be sitting here drinking their tears.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
As it should be.
Them up.
And the final one won't spend as long as we did the first time on this, but we got a Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes trailer as well a couple weeks back. This got me more excited for the game for sure. I think it's showed some good shit. Showing that this is an alternate story. Yeah. We're focusing on Shez, which is a mercenary, which based on the trailer was killed by Byleth in the main timeline, but because for some reason they were spared, met up with the house leaders when Byleth was supposed to, and that's just kind of crazy chain of events.
Almost
things.
Took Byleth's spot in a way.
Mm-hmm. And I think this is the best way to go about this game because they could have. Not really a way to do a prequel for Three Houses.
It's a lot harder to insert into this game.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And just retelling Three Houses, but with this would, like, a Warriors thing would be boring.
Yeah.
And a sequel wouldn't exactly work.
Right.
I mean, there could be a Three Houses sequel, but they're not going to do that in a Warriors game.
Right.
So having it be an alternate timeline makes sense.
And I'm glad it kind of seems like they're more committing to this is just its own make-believe side alternate timeline thing or whatever, rather than I think that's a lot stronger, and you could tell a better story that way than Hyrule Warriors being like, it's kind of with it, but it's kind of it's like, okay, I'm glad it just seems like they're at least just taking more of a stance. Like this is just something else.
Yep. And like with Hyrule Warriors, and this is a Fire Emblem Warriors, but even more so with this, they are taking stuff from the main games. They're doing class changes and stuff. They're doing for like 3 houses, like 3 different story paths. You can choose the houses at some point, which will be fun. Crazy playable characters that are be fun, like Monica will still be a playable character. We see Hilda's brother and Caspar's father fighting in a cutscene in the game, so maybe they'll be playable, but just having them in the story will be cool. There's just characters that are just mentioned in the original, but actually seeing here will be fun.
Yeah. And because they're doing the whole class, like the move sets by the class thing, which I know is like slightly disappointing, but I guess at least I would hope that if you're gonna do that, then you're gonna have a lot of playable characters, just because they're basically skins. A lot of them are basically skins at that point.
Yeah, apparently some characters will have some unique traits, but yeah, we'll have to see how much that is. Some characters will have unique classes, like Shez will have a unique one, Byleth will have a unique one, I imagine.
I'm sure
all the three House Lords.
Yeah, I'm sure the three. Yeah,
it sounds like Hubert does as well. I think they said in particular. Actually, maybe that the also like first in commands for each one. The houses might
just
have
all the popular waifus.
Yeah, all the popular waifus.
Hilda will have her own.
Yeah, it sounds like Hilda has her own thing going on too, which cool. But yeah, I'm expecting at the very least all the people in the houses for the house will be playable.
Yeah,
because surprised at this point if it's not.
You mean like all just period in every single house, like every playable character in 3 houses will be playable in this? Okay.
I mean, they do it by classes. I don't see why not.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just skins, but I was just thinking a lot, but I mean, yeah, I guess the number is not quite as high as I would think it is. Like, but yeah.
Let's go.
So. Hell yeah.
Well, Darby, as we talked about, E3 before E3 is dead, but that doesn't mean we can't have conferences. And well, Microsoft was just like, yeah, nerds at large, you're right. We can just do what we normally do.
We are gonna listen to you, Jeff and Darby.
Yep.
Me, Phil Spencer.
Xbox and Bethesda have announced their showcase is coming Sunday, June 12th at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So
basically, right when
exactly when they would do it normally.
Yeah, so it's
no difference. Maybe technically a day early because they do it Monday sometimes too, but you get it.
Yeah. So on our end, nothing's really changing.
Yep.
This is cool.
I'm excited to have just Microsoft going ahead and announcing their conference because, as we talked about before, most people don't care about most of these things besides the console makers
Right.
for the most part. So us just getting Xbox out of the way, like, okay, this is happening. Now I just need Nintendo and Sony to announce their shit. Even though I don't expect Sony to announce it like be in this time frame. They'll probably have theirs later, like they've had the last couple years.
I wonder, like, do you think we would see any like Activision Blizzard stuff here at this point, or
no.
It's gonna be still
whatever would be here, like potentially Call of Duty is going to be here regardless because they can't actually do it yet.
Yeah, I mean, they could independently as third parties because there's lots of third parties.
Yeah. I mean, it could still be here, but it won't be like.
I know it won't be here as an Xbox property, but I mean, it could still be.
I mean,
obviously,
I'm just not expecting like a bunch of
it.
extra shit because of that thing. Because
yeah. All I'm saying is there's nothing prohibiting them from being there because they're are there all the time. But
I mean, kind of expect Call of Duty to maybe be there. I can't remember if it's like last year or whatever, but
I don't even know what I would be referring to exactly.
Yeah, I expect whatever Activision Blizzard stuff that would normally be an Xbox would be there regardless, and probably not meant anything more than that.
Fair.
But obviously, I think the biggest thing that's going to be here is Starfield.
Yeah,
that is going to be their big thing. That is going to be the 10-minute plus show.
We better come out of that knowing what that game is. Like having a very firm concept of what
it is. Funny is one of the just seeing like people refer themselves as Starfield fans, or Bethesda referring to people as Starfield fans. Like, we haven't seen shit, guys. we can assume how this game's going to go based on your pedigree, like what you've done in the past, but we don't know shit.
I mean, I'm Starfield interested.
Yeah,
I'm interested, but I am certainly not a fan. There's nothing to be a fan of yet.
Yeah,
I agree. But I am excited. I am excited to see. I'm hoping Bethesda can recapture being a titan of the RPGs. I'm hopeful.
Yeah. But will we see Fable?
No.
Okay.
I think there's a chance, but I'm gonna lean no. I do think that whatever the hell leak thing could be accurate about it coming out next like October, fallish or whatever, but I still have a feeling we might have to wait till like Game Awards or something to see it. But I'm not going to be shocked if we do see it. Yeah.
Hellblade 2, let's go.
Yeah, I would hope.
Yeah, I would hope. We're at the point where they showed it and the way they talked about it, we don't see me like, what's going on there?
Yeah, I think they did show it pretty damn early, but I still think it's time to see it again. even if we don't get a release date on it, to just see something.
Yep. They've announced a lot of games. Now we just need to actually see them.
Yeah, Avowed also. I also think that was announced super duper early. Unfortunately, all these Xbox things I think were announced like absurdly early. So
Outer Worlds 2.
Outer Worlds 2.
Really early.
They even joked about it. Like, I don't expect to see that yet.
No, that's what I mean. I was adding to announcing shit way too early.
Yeah, so there's a number of things that I would be either way. It's like I'm not gonna predict that they're there, but I also wouldn't be shocked if they
probably get like a new announcement or two. Yeah, let's see. Darby, leaks. They can be cool. They cannot be cool. I think this one's pretty cool.
Okay.
Leaks are good for the industry. Not really. This comes from Darren Bofuse from GameSpot. I butchered that. Details on Game Boy and Game Boy Advance emulators for Nintendo Switch has reportedly leaked online, alongside a long list of games that have allegedly been tested on the software. Borrowed by Twitter user Trash Bandicoot or Bandatcoot. Files containing emulators in development by Nintendo Europe Research and Development originally leaked onto 4chan under the code name of Hioyo for Game Boy software and Sloop for Game Boy Advance emulation. Another Twitter user by the name of Rat Girl Hunter uploaded alleged camera footage of the emulators booting up and running on Switch, although their account has since been deleted.
And Jeff, I haven't been listening to a word you said. I've just been listening to the internet usernames.
On top of that, Pokemon and Gaming Leaks account Pori Leaks told Kotaku that the emulator only works on the Switch dev kit currently. As for the games that could be emulated on the software, dozens of titles have been tested so far, including a number of classic Nintendo games and hidden gems. Darby, let's fucking go.
Put them out. No.
Yeah, so just in case you people haven't been paying attention or forget, Game Boy and Game Boy Color games have been rumored for like forever.
Yeah.
And the leaks believe they were coming, but people are like, where are the Game Boy Advance games? And then there's this, and it's like, come on, Nintendo, just release this shit.
Do any of this. Like, put these games up.
Also, do not make this in a different tier of the online, please, for the love of God.
Bitch, they might.
Bitch, they might. But yeah, I'm excited for Game Boy. It's one of those ones that I don't always think about. That when I think about it, it's like, God, that library is so fucking good.
There's a lot of games.
Yeah, I'm not gonna read them all, but just some things that were part of the leaked list. You got a couple Castlevania games. You got Fire Emblem: The Sacred Stones. You got an F-Zero game in there. Both. You got 2 Golden Suns. Kingdom Hearts: Chain of Memories. Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, a bunch of Mario games like sports games, got Mario Party in there and Mario and Luigi. Mega Man Battle Network, come on Capcom, do something with this. You're releasing a lot of Battle Network merch. I know you're planning on a collection, just release it. Or do this, I don't care either way. They got Pokemon spin-offs on here. I think there was something I saw related to this where people were kind of looking and there might have been looks at a software to do trades, like with the old games. So like trading with, the original Game Boy Advance games, which would be awesome because of I'm trying to think if this happened. I guess it's just the DS games that would not be easily accessible, like generation wise. We have the Gen 4 remakes, which are good enough as far as like having those available, in my opinion. But like Gen 5 and Gen 6 would be the only ones we need to come up, and then everything else would be available.
That's neat.
I guess 7 as well. Then yeah, a bunch of other ones like Minish Cap, Legend of Zelda, Minish Cap, Yoshi's Island, WarioWare, Warrior Land. So very good lineup of games, which would be awesome.
Is the thought here that is this going to be a drip feed thing like everything else has been?
Of course.
It's so annoying.
Yep.
Yeah.
The hope would be though if they did and the thing is, the fact that it's leaked, unfortunately, does not mean this would happen anytime soon or even at all.
And it might start soon, but you might not get some of these games for freaking 3 years. You never know.
I hope at the very least, if they announce like, hey, here's Game Boy for Game Boy Advance shit, well, they would at least do a decent amount in the beginning. But then at least the feed of games between all like Nintendo 64 and all the Game Boy lines would At least we got games on there pretty consistently at that point, because that's a whole lot of fucking games to go through.
There's a lot. That's the problem. It's like you have too many games if you want to do this. Like, we're gonna give you 3 at a time. It's like, God, why? Like, that's gonna take so long.
God, I wish it was 3 at a time. They're doing it like 1 N64 game, maybe a month.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, why do you artificially make people like? If someone just wants one of the games, they have to literally wait 2 years. What are you doing?
Yep.
We might be moving on from the Switch by then. Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I think we're about to get to the end of the list that they originally announced for the N64 when they initially announced it.
But that was a lot less games than this, right?
Yeah.
So it's like,
I mean, N64 still has lots of games so that means they got to announce new games to add to it.
I hate the system.
Yeah.
I know that we talk about this every single time it comes up, but I just fucking hate the system.
Yeah.
Nintendo is so trash with their retro catalog. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah. I want these games.
Hey.
Well, Dory, let's talk about VR. Everyone's favorite topic. Everyone loves VR. MetaQuest, Darby. Meta, everyone's favorite company. Your favorite company, in fact.
It's still weird hearing MetaQuest, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I don't have the words MetaQuest in front of me, I default to Oculus.
Yeah, I think we're going to be like 7 years old and still calling it Oculus.
7
like,
years old?
I said 70 or tried to say 70. We're going to be 70 years old and we're going to be saying Oculus Quest. And we're like, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about, old man? What the fuck's an Oculus?
No.
Now, excuse me while I plug into my metaverse.
Yeah, that's right. Now take your nutrient chip.
Take your meta vitamins. Your metamins.
And keep playing Kingdom Hearts 60. I want to watch you.
Yes. So, yeah, MetaQuest had a gaming showcase. They announced some games. All of them supposed to come out within the next year, Darby. So I'm going to kind of go down some of that list and, talk about the state of theirs.
Give me the ver.
The big headliner for this, because I just pulled up an IGN article. I'll give some credit. Adam Bankhurst from IGN going off their article for the list of games. Thank you, Adam. Ghostbusters VR was announced. Ghostbusters are coming back in a big way. Yeah, all these games, the movies.
Will they be successful? That's the question. Did that movie come out already?
Yes.
I didn't hear anyone but Greg talk about it.
No one but Greg cares about Ghostbusters now.
I mean, that's kind of what it feels like.
Maybe this will make Greg get a meta and go away from PlayStation VR. Maybe. Nah, he'll just wait.
Yeah.
Oop. Okay. So yeah, unfortunately, this trailer was not much of anything. It was kind of a cinematic that kind of looked like gameplay. So not really go off like how the game actually plays. And also, as far as Greg Bake goes, Darby, this game is based in San Francisco, so they're appealing specifically to him.
It's just a game made for Greg Miller.
Yeah, like I never seen a brand try so hard for one man. But yeah, it could be cool. Like when it started, like one final thing, I was hoping Grand Theft Auto. Let's go see that. It wasn't that? I was like, this is fine, I guess. For people
what is your Ghostbusters nostalgia like?
I know I've seen the first movie, but I don't. It's been so long. I'm
kind of in the same place. Yeah.
I don't have any particular fondness for it. I mean, it's cool. Like, yeah, this game can be fun, but
I don't think I saw any of the other ones after the first one.
Yeah. Resident Evil 4 VR was talked about as the Mercenaries mode got dropped, shadow dropped. Everyone was like,
what is that again?
It's kind of like an arcade shooty type mode in there that was in the original Resident Evil 4. So naturally, when this came out and it did not have it, everyone was like, hey, you know what would be cool? Mercenaries. And Meta was like, you're right, that would be cool. Here it is for free.
That would be really cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And so, yeah, you play as Wesker in VR.
Nice.
And that got people excited, and you can do a whole bunch of unlock new modes like Big Head mode to use in the main campaign and all that kind of stuff. Fun shit. Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution.
Didn't you really like this?
Yes. The first one, fantastic. I didn't actually finish it though because setting up PSVR is a pain in the butt. So I need to do that.
Fair.
But
But now this is coming to Oculus.
Well, the first one is on Oculus. Yeah, this is the sequel to it,
Okay.
and that gets me excited because the first one is excellent. I know everyone can say what they want about Walking Dead being oversaturated, yada yada yada, but at least the Saints and Sinners VR games, at least the first one,
are
is
these
fantastic.
like chapters like of a Life is Strange game, or is this like a whole new game? Like
It's a
sequel
whole
game?
brand new game.
Okay.
The first one came out a little bit ago. It was a full game. It's one of those VR games like, this is just a full game.
Okay.
No experience. It's just a full game. It is a crazy game.
Nice.
More hardcore than you might think. But yeah, I'm excited for this. It sounds like they're continuing from the story of the first one and just gonna go crazy with it.
Hell yeah.
Yup. They announced NFL Pro Era.
It's probably gonna be bad, right?
Oh, no, probably about it. Let me see if I can. Okay, it's off. Let me see if this trailer will load. Just real quick to show you what it looks like. God damn it. Okay, let's continue talking. It's a game where you only play as the quarterback.
Yeah.
So you run around, you toss it, and it's like, okay, once you toss it or run with it, it's like, okay, what do you do? Like it is not like a particular great. Okay,
I could see having like a super arcadey type of quarterback simulator game be good, but I don't know. It's probably
yeah.
Yeah.
It could be fun, but it looks like one of those things that it's a fun experience type thing. But depending how much they charge for this, if it was a free thing, I download it and probably have a good time with it for a day. But if it's something they charge you money for, like, no.
I expect it to be one mildly interesting mechanic, and that's about it. It's like, like you say, it's gonna be very shallow, a very like if it was free, it might be like this is a cool idea.
Yeah,
but you don't.
When I saw like NFL, like when they kind of like, oh, we're doing it partnering with the NFL for a game. I'm like, okay, this could be interesting. And I was like, nah.
I mean, I'm sure you're at the same point. Like the NFL video game stuff, or any of that has just gotten to the point where, like, whenever I see something coming up, I just immediately assume it's going to be a bad cash grab, low effort thing or whatever, and it has to get me away from that. It has to prove, it has to prove that there's a reason why I should think above that of it. Which is sad.
Yeah. Among Us VR. They showed off gameplay for that, and it looks like fun.
Nice.
Unfortunately, I would have no one to play with, so that's unfortunately nothing I'm not.
If you all your rich friends can play, it's like who has a friend group with multiple people with VR? These friend groups don't exist. I don't understand.
Content creators.
That's it. That's literally it.
Yep.
Side note: I said there was at a family gathering, I said sus. I said like that someone was sus or whatever. It's like because it's among us. It happens or whatever. There was a little kid in my family who like torched me alive. Apparently, I'm too old of a man. I'm too old and washed up to be saying sus. Apparently, that was like crossing some line. I'm like, listen, kids. You didn't invent the word sus, okay? Like, you do not have ownership over this word.
Yeah. You don't have ownership of Among Us.
You do not. I play the Mogus. I can play Among Us. Anyway.
Moss Book 2 coming to the Meta Quest this summer. People who don't know, Moss 2 came out on PlayStation VR. I'm obviously going to want to play it, but I am not yet. And now that I know I just got to wait till the summer to play on my much better Quest, I'm going to do that.
It was pretty quick, decently quick.
Yep, so I am going to do that. I am very excited. I've heard nothing but great things about it.
Hell yeah.
Bone Labs builds on everything Boneworks did so. It's called Bone Lab. This seems like to be just a character creator thing. Like it's all about action courses or whatever. Mm-hmm. Apparently, the first Boneworks is apparently a pretty solid thing that maybe was a little janky, but this is hoping to improve on it. It looks pretty crazy. They had a bunch of action levels and puzzles made by the creators of this game, but then there's players can create their own shit, and then you can play those people's levels. So it looks like it could be a fun little thing.
Nice.
Cities VR, don't care. Beat Saber adding a new electronic mixtape DLC with adding such artists as Deadmau5, Marshmallow, Pendulum, and more.
Just the type of music that I don't listen to on my own, but in Beat Saber, I'm sure would be great.
Yep. Red Matter 2, Darby. Red Matter 2. I know how much you love that Red Matter 1.
God, I can't get enough of it, you know? Like,
Yeah. I had no idea what Red Matter 1 was.
Redhead, you know, that's what
but apparently people really like it, and I looked at this like, yeah, this looks pretty neat. I might need to get into this Red Matter series.
Okay.
It looks like just one of the things, like it,
sci-fi something.
Yeah, more it was like a very sci-fi thing that and again, one of those VR games, like, okay, this is like a game. We're getting more of those. Like just a full game, and it's not nice. It seems to be like Moss in Moss Book 2, where the sequel takes place right after the original.
Nice.
So need to get on that at some point. What I like about this showcase is it's making me like, yeah, I just need to play my VR, use my VR headset a lot more. It helps give me that motivation for it. Need to find the time to do it. All these cool games. Spire 2, generic shooter. We got a JRPG in this, Darby.
Is this the one we've seen before? It was the VR.
Oh,
or no, it was an MMO that we saw.
Yeah. This is a narrative-driven JRPG. It has full Japanese voice acting.
Oh, nice.
It looks like it'd be pretty fun. It's one of the things I want to see reviews and impressions for first, because it looks like it could be a little jank, but
like, what is it? Is it an action game or is it?
Yeah, I'll try to. Quick, let's see. Yeah, that was the last one. But overall, yeah, solid showcase. I was kind of sad we did not see Grand Theft Auto in here. I've
Is
had
San
people.
Andreas that's supposed to be coming out?
Yes. People speculating that potentially, it could be held back for like be a cross-gen thing with like the Questly that would probably happen. And I can see that. That sounds like that's going to be crazy, but I want it.
Interesting.
Yep. A lot of people going in on VR still makes me happy.
It seems like it is slowly ramping up.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been a slow build.
Even if I don't end up getting it, another big company like Sony still being in on VR is only good for the medium.
No, we definitely did not expect to be here with PSVR 2 coming out. So.
Yep. All right, Daria, let's talk about WB games. I know how much you love them. You love your Batmans, your Lord of the Rings, your Barry Potters.
Love me, Barry Potter, man.
Yeah. This comes from Imran Khan from Fanbyte via Twitters. This is what he said in his tweets. Couldn't get enough confirmation to actually write a post about it, but hearing a decent bit of chatter this week about WB Discovery shopping their game development studios around. Interesting parties include EA, Take-Two, Microsoft, Sony, Tencent, NetEase, and PUBG Corp. WB Discovery wants to sell studios and license IP, supposedly. So we kind of heard this rumor kind of before. It's kind of popping up again now that the Warner Brothers Discovery merger has happened and kind of solidified.
Yeah,
we're seeing it kind of effects of it now. Like CW just canceled a bunch of shit.
So this whole, there was talks about Warner Brothers dissolving game stuff or whatever. That still might be, these studios still might be shipped off to different places.
Yes, and yeah, Imran's kind of hearing that talk still happening and was able to name studios. I figure that's something worth talking about at least for a minute.
Yeah.
The unfortunate thing is, I'm curious what kind of deal like Warner Brothers is looking for and everything, because for a lot of these studios, not having the IP attached is
they're one of the most IP driven companies on earth when
it
comes to their gaming stuff. It's all Batman and then like Mortal Kombat and doing like a bunch of movie crossovers.
So weird that NetherRealm got separated from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I mean, but even if they took Mortal Kombat with them, it's like you wouldn't be able to do all these like movie crossover stuff that you like to do before. It's like a lot of that would fall off.
Yeah, and I do wonder, what would this mean for multiverses? Like, the studio is not part of the team, but if they're just kind of going, I guess this technically would be a licensing thing. I don't know. Hopefully that wouldn't be affected.
Hopefully they just work. I mean, I guess just because they're not owned with them doesn't mean they couldn't work with them or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean that's obviously the ship's already sailed on that. They have the characters, they have the thing out. Just like
kind of more like continuous support of it and everything. But yeah, First Level Games is not part of WB, so that probably would not be affected. But it's kind of more of, if they're planning on doing this, WB Discovery's like mindset of games more than anything. It would be my fear from multiverses.
Oh yeah, I'm sure if it was like, hey, can we get more budget? They'll be like, no, yeah.
So
I think that's a definitely thing to be legitimately concerned about.
Yeah, as far as all that stuff, like Rocksteady's an easy buy. Like, people would want that studio, but when they're so attached to the DC properties and the other one, then you got to pay the licensing fee. I can see obviously all these studios make sense to want to do it, but Sony and Microsoft are ones that are wanting to acquire a lot of things. I can see Microsoft being a little more driven to potentially do this, especially if it comes with some licensing stuff, like licensing rights to characters. Okay, well, Sony has Spider-Man. Let's take Batman.
Yeah, I mean, I could even see just the fact that Sony owns Evo now, them owning NetherRealm.
Yeah.
Could be, I don't know, there could be some interest there to get into fighting games in some way.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Make another PlayStation All-Stars too.
And make another All-Stars too. It's just super bloody.
Yes,
super gory. Like Sly Cooper's head gets
ripped off. I
off.
actually saw someone brought up a post and related to this. Obviously it doesn't mean anything. Ed Boon apparently last year tweeted, hey, bring back this franchise with a picture of PlayStation All-Stars. Man of taste and culture.
Yes, he is a man of taste. Yes, Ed, yes. We stand.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just interesting to keep track of, but kind of impossible to know how this would exactly go. It's too many studios, but they do feel like one of the ones that getting sold off could be the worst outcome for these because of just how tied they are to WB.
Yep. All right, let's talk about PlayStation Premium.
I love giving Sony my money, just all my money.
Good. They want it. We've got a couple different headlines for this, so we'll stick all in here. They announced that the new PlayStation Plus is targeting a June 13th release date for America. Looks like the Asian countries are getting it in May. And I think European countries supposed to be maybe a couple days after we're scheduled to get it. So
fuck for Europe.
And naturally, Sony had announced that, for PlayStation Now and PlayStation, the original PlayStation Plus, whatever, whatever your remaining subscription is, it will be transferred over into the new PlayStation Plus. So naturally, people are looking at the prices and I'm going to stack up and add years onto my thing, like they do for a lot of things. And Sony's like, no, you can't do that. We're stopping you from redeeming your PlayStation Plus cards. So people bought PlayStation Plus cards, and Sony's like, no, we're going to turn off. You can't redeem this shit.
Wait, what?
Sony's literally not letting people use the stuff that they bought.
I was about to say, so they bought it in the store or something? Or
they bought it in the store, and they also disabled you from buying it from their online store as well.
That's crazy.
So people can't stack it.
But people already bought cards. They already spent money on cards and they can't redeem them.
Yes.
You can't do that. You bought a thing. You bought a thing to do the thing with it. What?
Yeah, they kind of said it's we're not letting you do this.
No, Sony, that's your problem. That's your fuck up. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Hey, these are the rules you set, Sony. Let people do this.
That's you should have thought about this more. That's ridiculous.
Yep.
I would be livid if I had spent money on something that you can't.
Yeah, I'm sure people spend multiple hundreds of dollars. I'll be like, okay, I can have this for a good because I think it is upgraded to like the highest tier, so it's like, okay, I spend $50. I spend $50 on a year card or whatever for a year instead of paying the like 100 whatever bucks it is for the upgraded thing. Like, no. I'm wondering how that's gonna work after the fact with these cards.
Yeah.
Like, what is actually going to be used for?
Why doesn't it just carry over into the base model that's the same price?
I don't know.
That's very strange.
And according to GameDeveloper.com, Sony's requiring devs to offer 2-hour time game trials for PlayStation Plus premium subscribers for games that cost more than $34.
That is cool. I wish that was just something that was just more across the board, not behind the service and stuff like that. But I mean,
Yeah.
Sony, all the console people need some answer to the fact that they don't have any refund system whatsoever. I mean, Steam, I love that. I love in Steam that you can get something, and if you return it within the first 14 days and less than 2 hours of playtime, you just get a refund, no question asked. So I've done that for multiple games where I've tried and didn't like it or refunded it. They don't have anything like that on PlayStation or Xbox or Switch or any of this. So like they need to start introducing something like this. It's a shame that it's behind this paywall, but it's still, I guess it's
Yeah, based on what it's sounding like from the stuff that's coming out, developers may not have to do it. Sony themselves might kind of make it work somehow. And also they apparently have 3 weeks to do it. So like after coming out is what it sounds like it's saying right now. So a game comes out, they may not have to do the trial until 3 weeks later, so they don't have to miss out on those day one sales, which would be some people's concerns. But yeah, I'm generally with you where it's like this should just be the norm.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Steam has had this for years and years and years, and everything's not on fire over there. They're perfectly fine. So it's like, yeah.
And, you know, it also is part of this saying, yo, these people can still make their own demos, normal demos if they want to.
Yeah.
All right. Time for everyone's favorite segment. Everyone gets a TV show / movie.
Everybody, Nerds at Large movie coming 2023.
Let's go. Chris Pratt is playing me.
You know.
The Rock is the executive producer for It Takes Two movie for Amazon. It might also star in it.
Yeah, okay. Starring it would mean something. It was like, what does it even mean? If he's the executive producer, just slapping a name on something.
And Joseph Fares is supposed to be a producer or whatever, and someone else from Hazelight. Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. It could be cute.
I'm not as down on the story of It Takes Two as much.
Yeah, no,
like people hate that. So like go off on it. Like, man, Cody are the worst characters ever. I'm like, are we playing the same?
Yeah, like,
are we playing the same thing?
Look,
I mean, I think worst, it's inoffensive.
No, I think it was very good and very cute. I just think like whenever we were talking about it and stuff, it was just like I just don't think it's like best narrative because like that's not like that wasn't the centerpiece of it or whatever. But it was very charming and very cute, and it's like
I don't get it.
It's a pretty low impact story overall. I mean it tackles heady subject and everything, but it's like I don't know how you could get through that and think that was bad.
Like, I've seen people say I can't get through this game because of the story and characters. I just can't. I'm like, really? I just can't comprehend it.
I don't even remotely understand that.
Yeah,
like I don't understand how you cannot just be like that was cute. It was like a cute, charming rom-com almost. I mean, it was just like. And the gameplay is phenomenal, but it's like, I don't understand that. Yeah. I still think it could be like a whatever movie or TV show or something, because I don't think it's like the strongest story, but it's certainly not like something bad. No. You know, it's like, it's crazy.
John Wick creator Derek Kolstad is working on a Streets of Rage film.
Go Huber.
Yeah. I think like a good pairing. Who knows how it'll go.
That could be good, though.
Yeah.
It could be good.
Super Mario Bros. Delayed until April 7, 2023.
Was that supposed to be this year?
Yep.
Didn't even realize that.
I think probably like December or something. Got away from Avatar.
Run far away.
I'm sorry, I missed Shazam too.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. The true big blockbuster late this year. Yeah. I guess take your time. I don't think this is the most surprising thing because we have not heard shit since the casting announcement.
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to be next year anyway, so
yeah.
To be honest.
Some leaks have apparently come out And yeah.
I'm excited. Good or bad, I'm excited.
All right. Sales time, Darby. Sales time. Sales time. Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga has sold 3.2 million. These are kind of old, so it's obviously sold more, and this is the fastest selling Lego game.
I'm one of those.
You're one of 3.2 million. How special. But very good for this game.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone, related to it is ecstatic. Cause,
I wonder how this compares to most other Lego games like this, but I mean, that seems like a lot.
Yep.
3.2, that's pretty fast.
Indeed.
So
Indeed.
I imagine this will be a game that keeps selling. As
I imagine it have legs.
I feel like it would have legs.
Well, especially once it gets on sale, people
that feels like that will be a impulse buy, and the kids like, oh, I want the Lego.
Because word of mouth seems much stronger for this than most other Lego games for sure. So, Dying Light 2 has sold over 5 million in its first month.
Also, kind of surprising, honestly.
Yeah. Well, this felt surprising to me as well. The original Dying Light has crossed 20 million.
Wow.
So I think Dying Light is just secretly bigger than we gave it credit for.
I suppose so, dude.
I guess. I mean, I know it's like a big AAA thing that people are kind of excited for, but Dying Light 2 kind of came out and no one talked about it.
I heard some people, like a lot of video game critic people don't really like it that much, but I heard a fair amount of people like just on the internet. I heard more chatter about it than I thought I would, so that kind of makes sense, I guess, now. Parkour zombies. People love zombies, man.
True.
They love zombies.
SMT 5 is sold over 1 million copies, making it the best-selling mainline SMT game. The previous best-selling was 4 at 600,000.
That's wild. Like, that's not a popular series at all. It's like, for how much staying power and how much, like, iconic it is, it's really not. But I mean, it's when you really stop and think about it, it makes sense. I mean, it is a tough as nails, like not making concessions for fucking anyone type of game, which is great, but it's gonna make it not very mass appeal.
Yeah.
So
Persona's for the mass appeal part of it.
Absolutely, like me, casual plebs like me.
Tales of Rises now sold over 2 million.
Also, I would imagine this very good.
Yes. It's I think he's only behind like 2 or 3 other Tales games as far as all-time sales. Like, I think the top selling is like 2.5 mil. So I imagine he's going to surpass it.
Yeah, it'll probably become the most. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yep. Very
especially with sales and shit.
Yeah, I'm curious if this is going to pull. They're going to do a pull Azalea and give it a direct sequel.
I could see that. I kind of hope not.
All right, Darby. Time. Continuing sale time. We got NPDs. NPD. Alrighty. Dari, I'm just gonna go ahead and make the decision. I'll do Sonic review in a tweet.
I don't want to. I mean, do you want to just skip this and other news and just do Sonic right now?
No, that's fine. I want to talk about this stuff.
Okay.
Let me see. Since we already did the Sonic talk already on here, I can just kind of put general thoughts on that.
It is hard to do a podcast twice, isn't it?
Yep, talking about the same thing again. No. The white, it burns my eyes.
Technical difficulties. Yeah, white Twitter is weird. Who does that?
I don't know. I don't know why it's doing this.
What kind of godless
abomination? Okay, have you seen the NPD chart?
I have not.
Yes, you love to see it.
You can count on Darby's ignorance.
I mean, the most it comes down to, have you listened to the Easy Allies podcast and do you recall it?
Right, which I have not this week. So,
all right, Darby, what do you think number 1 is for March?
Oh Lord, I'm so bad at this all the time. I can't remember what comes out. Elden Ring.
Yes.
Hey, boy.
So, funny thing is, Darby, this is Elden Ring's second month.
Wow. Yeah, no.
Let me do it.
Elden Ring keeps selling, boy. Selling.
Yep. Let me try to find. Okay, so Elden Ring experienced double-digit % dollar sales growth compared to its February 2022 launch.
Wow, so it's more this year.
Yeah, it was late February.
Was it? Okay, I can't remember.
But it remains the best-selling game of 2022, and now ranks and ranked second over the 12-month period ending March 2022, only behind Call of Duty. So in the last 12 months, only Call of Duty in the US has sold more.
So this is going to March 2021.
Yes. Every game that has sold since then, besides Call of Duty, has sold less than Elden
So
Ring.
in 1 month, it outsold everything but Call of Duty from last year. That's fucking crazy.
It also Madden.
That's fucking crazy. What the hell?
FromSoft ain't niche no more.
No, I'm sure Bandai Namco still kind of has their jaw on the floor. They're like, wait, what? It's like,
I think their expectations were like 5 million or something.
It sold. Excuse me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. That if DLC wasn't already immediately being in production, it is now. They're like, oh shit.
Yep. Where's number 2, Darby?
Lord,
there are a lot of new games on this list.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else.
It may not. You may have to dig deep for this one. It is a first-party exclusive, but it may not be the one that immediately comes to mind. Vroom vroom.
I was trying. Oh, it was Gran Turismo. Yeah.
Yep, Gran Turismo 7 debuted at number 2.
Yep.
Gran Turismo set a new all-time launch month dollar sales record for the Gran Turismo franchise. So good for it. Unfortunately, Elden Ring was there to stop it from being number 1. Because Elden Ring is life.
It's becoming Skyrim. It's having Skyrim vibes and just like how much of a cultural phenomenon it's crazy.
Yes.
It's like that's the closest analogous thing I can think at this point.
All right, Darby, what is number 3? Another new game.
I'm trying to think who put out new games.
Another exclusive.
Did Nintendo put out a game? No.
Might be a game we talked about early in the podcast.
Oh, was it Lego Star Wars?
I said exclusive.
Oh yeah, you did say exclusive, didn't you? Oh, Kirby?
Damn. Number 3 with no digital version.
Damn.
Unfortunately,
that's pretty high.
He did not put any extra information from Kirby, so it may not have been the. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's very high.
Indeed. Number 4. Former exclusive. First party exclusive. It's still a first party game, but no longer exclusive.
Horizon?
Okay, I see how you could plot that. No. This is another brand new game.
Oh, yeah.
This would be Horizon's second month. Horizon's the game after this at number 5. Drop from 2 to 5 for Horizon. But number 4.
And Horizon Forbidden West would be exclusive. I was thinking about the original Horizon.
Yeah, I didn't want to call you out on it, you fake fan.
Well, I wasn't talking about
no.
But yeah, I didn't realize that you said this was a new game.
New game. Maybe from the same company as Horizon.
The same company from Killzone? From Sony.
Sony.
Yes. Lord, I don't know.
MLB The Show.
Okay, I wouldn't have gotten there. For some reason, I wasn't thinking about it.
Number 4. Includes only the MVP edition and digital deluxe edition. Does not include the actual regular version of the game.
Wow. Yeah, it probably would be above Kirby or something else.
Probably. I would assume so. If not above Gran Turismo, I don't know. Because again, just the regular version of the game that most people are going to buy.
Wait, what? This is the only problem with NPDs is a lot of times some of their asterisks are pretty fucking big asterisks where I'm like, what?
Well, it is the unfortunate thing with MLB The Show that I guess just with the thing because the MVP and Digital Deluxe Edition came out early, so it technically came out in the time period for this month, but the regular standard edition did not.
So that's why.
That's why it's separated.
Then, yeah, it would probably be number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. 5 Horizon, 6 Pokemon Legends Arceus, staying up there in its 3rd month. 7 is you're just never gonna get this. WWE 2K22, no digital. Number 8, staying at 8, Mario Kart 8. Jesus. Number 9, dropping a few spots, Call of Duty Vanguard. Okay, Dari, we got a trio of new games coming. New games that just released. This first one, a spinoff. I mean, this can apply to, but spinoff of a beloved franchise went into a crazy direction. Still technically does it for the next 2 games, but if you get one of them, I'll be happy.
So like by brand, so this is in March, right?
Yes, these are games that came out in March.
Games that came out in March. I'm taking too long.
Memes, Darby. The next one had memes. Come from it. Chaos came from
Oh
it.
shit! Okay, all right, yeah.
Number 10, Stranger to Paradise, Final Fantasy Origins.
That's honestly a little higher than I would have thought. So,
number 11, Tina's Wonderlands.
nice.
Debut month. For some reason, no digital,
That's less than I would have thought.
but also no digital.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Number 12, Ghostwire Tokyo.
That's about where I would have thought.
Yeah, especially this month is crowded with new games.
It is.
And then the old games above it, it's like, yeah, there's a
Ghostwire Tokyo is going to be one of those games that I guarantee you at the end of the year we're going to be like, oh yeah, that game. You know, it's like I think it's kind of going to come and go. Sad for Tango.
13 FIFA 22, 14 Minecraft, 15 Madden NFL 22, number 16, the final new game on this list.
Final Fantasy 16. It's stealth released. No one knows.
Yep. Triangle Strategy with no digital sales.
Charting.
With no digital involved.
Wow.
Good for you, Triangle Strategy. I want to play that game.
That feels good. Feels good.
Mario Party Superstars at 17. 18 Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. 19 Animal Crossing New Horizons. And number 20, Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Some surprises there. I like it. Elden Ring, number 1, and doubling its sales from the previous one. Like, what?
And it didn't double. It double-digit growth.
Double-digit or whatever. You know, it's like, it's just fucking crazy.
Time for other news.
Other news.
Reggie Fils-Aimé endorses NFTs in the blockchain.
Reggie's canceled.
Reggie is canceled. Very sad, Darby.
It's
He really wants to sell his Animal Crossing island.
sad day
He
to
thinks
come
he can
here.
make the big bucks with it. Digimon Survive finally got a release date, Darby. We did it.
The roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, I figured it was getting pushed out of this year. It's confirmed for July 29th, which is very unfortunate because that's Xenoblade Day.
Well, Jeff, you just have to have your dual screen experience. You know, like while you're grinding, you're reading, you're doing both.
Yeah. Very unfortunate, Darby, because right now my schedule for the summer is June 28th, I want to say. Or June 26th, 28th, somewhere in that range on the same day. AI the Somnia Files 2 and Fire Emblem Warriors come out the same day. And then almost exactly a month later, Digimon Survive and Xenoblade come out the
You
same
ain't
day.
play Fire Emblem Warriors until the fall, dude. It's gonna be a bit, I'm sure.
Sad. But the interesting thing about the pairings they're kind of similar in a way, because one of for each pair, one of those kind of more of an action based thing, while the other one is a visual novel with some gameplay elements. So in a weird way, good companions, but we'll have to see. All I know is I got a deadline for Elden Ring.
Yeah.
That I have to get done.
Yeah, you're a little behind us. You gotta get in there, boy.
I do.
Start fighting some bosses.
We talked about this during the original filming of this podcast. New Tomb Raider was announced. Not much really said other than it's going to be on Unreal Engine 5, and Darby's excited. Yeehaw! Let's go. FF16, Final Fantasy 16 producer Naoki Yoshida says the game is in final stages of development.
I can't get a grasp on when this game's gonna come out. I think it's at this point it's next year. I think for sure, but
I can still see it sneaking in this year.
it would be end of this year at earliest.
I mean,
I'm gonna expect next
I
spring.
mean, it's hard for me to say it's definitely not coming out this year because we're still in the springtime where they said they'd actually show it.
That is true.
Here's the thing, Darby. Something we got to remember. These companies, and sometimes even the people within these companies, are very weird or inconsistent, is the better word, about when they say seasons are. Technically, E3 time, then when we expect that mid-June could technically be counted as spring.
It's not though, but I know that they've done this all the time, but it's not. It's just not spring.
So
I'm going to expect January to March, somewhere in that range. But yeah, it could come out.
Disney Dreamlight Valley was announced, Darby.
What it?
I think Stardew Valley with Disney characters.
People are gonna spend a lot of money in that, probably.
Yes, it is a free-to-play Disney license thing coming to PC and consoles.
Especially if it has microtransactions, people are gonna spend some money in that.
Yeah, it looks cute. What's the name of the company that unfortunately gets people understandably a lot of pause?
So much pause.
Yeah, it's Gameloft, I think it is. They're known for making a lot of mobile games, and yeah. And it looks cute. I will say this because I
3D or is it sprite stuff? You said it was like Stardew Valley. Okay, so yeah, it's more of a 3D.
You can garden with Wally, fish with Goofy, and all that kind of shit. I will say this now, Dory, because I don't think it'll actually happen. If Sora is in this game, I'll play it. If Sora can be my neighbor,
all right.
I will play this game.
Okay. All right.
But if it actually charges money to get to Sora, I have an out. Like, if I had to pay money to actually get to, like, Sora in there.
But what if it's lore relevant?
Then I'll play it. Sega wants their own Fortnite with Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi reboots.
It really sounded like you said they want to own Fortnite.
I mean, they do. They do.
Sorry, Sega. We're going to take Fortnite by force.
Yeah, so Sega wants their Fortnite kind of thing, but they're apparently doing this with Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi reboots.
Hey, shoot for the moon.
Yeah.
So that when you fall short, you still gone up, It's okay to have lofty ambitions.
Yeah.
You're not going to meet them, but, it's...
Like, I know people want to reboots for these games for a long while, particularly Jet Set Radio, I think, for sure. Crazy Taxi is just kind of one of those things that's like, it's such a basic concept. We kind of get that in a lot of other things. But it feels like one of those monkey paw things. It's like, you're going to do what? You're going to do what with these things?
Yeah. Sad.
My prediction is this stuff will never see the light of day.
Yeah, probably.
Amy Hennig is working on a Star Wars game. Take Two.
I've heard this before.
And it's also crazy is Amy Hennig's new studio working on a Marvel and a Star Wars game.
Yep. License out the ass. Gotta hope.
I'm really hoping Amy and Jade Raymond as well can actually release games.
Just get some games out.
Because I feel like I've been talking about them joining different things for as long as we've been doing this podcast, and they've released shit.
We have.
Yeah.
It was 2016 is when Uncharted 4 came out.
Yeah.
And she wasn't on that by the end of it, so.
Yep.
It's been a long time.
A new Tales from the Borderlands game is coming this year. Not from Telltale, though, so that gives people a little pause, but, people are excited.
People do like this game.
Yep. Baldur's Gate 3 is targeting a 2023 date.
I've done a good job of just forgetting that game exists, and I'm going to continue to do that until next year.
I'm going to have that headline every week, so you can remember.
I also refuse to play like the beta, the demo stuff or whatever, because like your progress doesn't carry over, and I don't want to do that.
Fair. You're going to get it. Yeah. Final thing, Darby. New Pokemon Unite characters have leaked.
Badoof.
If only. So you might remember me mentioning to these the other like a week or so ago or something like that. They got confirmed pretty much. While this one has not actually had in-game things, he's part of it. So I'm going to assume he's right. Buzzwole.
I kind of remember this, but yeah, he's a really buff bug, right?
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah.
Buzzwole in there. Big
yeah.
Let's go.
Very good name. Very good.
Del Fox is one.
I remember the name.
Do you remember the Braixen, the magical girl fox from Pokemon, or from Pokken? Sorry.
No.
Well, it was the magical girl little fox thing.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
one on two legs. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I thought it was pronounced differently.
Its evolution. Well, its evolutionary line going to be in there as an attacker.
Nice.
And finally, the most important one, with actual like gameplay leaked and costumes leaked. Most importantly, Espeon.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. I was about to ask, do you think we're ever going to get back into that game, Jeff? Because it's trending towards no, but like, SPL.
I want to, but
I just want us to play League. But yeah, I would play it again. I would play it.
Let's go. Getting the best mon in there.
That's awesome. Hell yeah. Well, they're targeting you specifically, Jeff.
And based on this data mining stuff, people are thinking it might be given away for free at first. They did that with Serena, good bit back.
They just randomly pick a character.
Yeah, it's like, we'll give this one away for free for a limited time.
Hey, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, I'll pay for it, but I think I have the coins to get a character anyway, so.
Yeah, I might at this point. Well, cool, ladies and gentlemen. That was a successful episode 218 in the Large Gaming Podcast. At least with God, we hope so. If it is, we ain't doing it again. If this gets eaten, we're not talking about any of these topics again. They're just lost in time. I'm just telling you right now.
Going straight to 219.
Yeah. I will commit to that. I will commit to Oh, God. Okay, well, that was fun. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Darby.
Yeah, very fun time. We'll be back 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.